If it hasn't been said already, this gift from the filmmaking gods, Ryan Coogler, is one of the greatest directors to ever exist in modern day Hollywood. My brother and I recently just watched his recent film, Sinners, a modern masterpiece of cinema that only further proves Coogler's awesomeness in filmmaking. But we'll talk about this film later. I can't contain this video to only talking about Sinners. I have to talk about his entire filmography, because this video isn't complete without talking about his previous films. While he doesn't have a big list of films that he's made throughout his career, there is no doubt that they have made a substantial impact on the film industry as a whole. And with Sinners being the awesomeness that it was, I want to take the time to honor this man's work, starting off with Ryan Coogler's first feature-length film, Fruitvale Station, which came out in 2013. It stars Michael B. Jordan playing a man named Oscar Grant, who was unfortunately shot by a police officer in Oakland, California in the midst of the new year of 2009. The movie had a budget of $900,000 and grossed over $17 million worldwide in its theatrical run. The film itself is very tragic and very heartbreaking, watching a man who's simply just trying to get his life back together after getting out of prison and now has to face the wrath and the crookedness of just a police officer behind a badge. It sucks that his life has been taken away, but it ended away for what became a tragic story in the end. But it's beautiful as it is heartbreaking because of Ryan Coogler's wonderful workmanship as a director. And this will be the breakthrough film that pretty much starts his career, and it truthfully only goes up from here with the next film, Creed. Spin-off of the Rocky series, Creed follows a man named Adonis Creed, who is the descendant of Apollo Creed. And even though Adonis didn't really know the root of his boxing talent came from Apollo, he took up boxing and trained himself to become the man machine that we know him as. Although he gets more training and more mentorship from Rocky Balboa himself in order to get better. What I like about this film particularly is that it's Michael B. Jordan's character, Adonis Creed, growing as a boxer. Even though he doesn't win most of his matches in the film, it still shows that he has so much promise that he's willing to go all the lengths possible in order to get better, not just as a boxer but as a person. And it's such a beautiful showcase of what the Rocky movies stand for, but also tries to be its own thing. And it's very much more appreciative when it's coming from that sort of perspective on a different character. But that's mostly just because Ryan Coogler is a freaking badass when it comes to storytelling, because he knows how to deal with characters like this, and it's very, very beautiful to see. The movie reached critical acclaim and it grossed over $173 million worldwide. The film still managed to be an instant classic in the same way as the first two Rocky movies were. And now we've come to Ryan Coogler's most successful film to ever hit his career, Black Panther, part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was the first Marvel cast of characters in that cinematic universe to ever feature in nearly all black casts, and has made Ryan Coogler the first African American to ever direct a Marvel Studios film. It grossed over $1.3 billion worldwide and broke numerous box office records, also making it the highest grossing film ever directed by an African American director. This character in of itself is already a huge deal back when it first came out as a comic during the Black Panther movement, hence why the name is Black Panther, and it's just as a big deal as it is now for black people to actually have this sort of high ranking in the box office and in the MCU altogether. And while it wasn't exactly like high praise for a lot of other people, considering most of the effects weren't exactly all that great, the performances from each actor in the film is astounding, as well as the story is very well executed. And it only further proves that Coogler just will never cease to amaze the public around him, and it only just keeps getting better from there. Black Panther 2, while it's kind of a lesser version of the first film, it still manages to be pretty decent. While it unfortunately doesn't have our rising star, Chadwick Boseman, due to his passing, and instead focuses on the sister of the character of Black Panther, played by Letitia Wright. And she holds her own just fine in the film, maybe not as much as Boseman, but she still tries. And it sucks to know that people don't seem to grasp it because they just wanted to see T'Challa in the film again, whether it be Boseman or anybody else. Which kind of sucks for her because now, especially when they went all that effort to make the film the way that it was, it's still executed just fine. Unfortunately, it probably won't see to fruition because of people like to complain a lot. But Coogler still managed to be a great director with this film, and he still executes it just fine. So if anything, I don't really see a loss here. He's even done some producer work on the side, being co-producer for Judas and the Black Messiah, and a lesser known film, the Space Jam sequel. But thankfully, things have only gotten better with his now masterpiece of a film, Sinners. By and large, in my opinion, is the absolute best film that he's ever made in his career so far. And again, it's not a big career that he's made it's not a big career so far. He's only made 5 films in his career so far. And he's only getting better. It's just insane of how great this film is. He's used of vampire lore, characters in their 3-dimensional selves, the actors playing them, the cinematography, and the editing. The editing in this film is just spectacular. I won't spoil a damn thing from this film. Go see this for yourself, please. Even just the editing alone is worth this film's price of admission. Everything in this film I absolutely love when it comes to filmmaking. Even the set design. There's just everything about it is just nearly perfect. I can't even put into words of how great this film is. But like I said, it only further proves Coogler's awesomeness, and I would say it can't get any better than this, but I'm honestly more than hopeful that it will get better than this. But for now, Sinners, f***ing amazing. And that's pretty much how I see Ryan Coogler's awesomeness. If this video doesn't really prove anything enough, then I don't really know what is. Whether or not you even know this director or even care to even know about him, all I can tell you is go see Sinners, please.